and welcome to the Cook Memorial Public Library podcast, where we invite you to spend just a few minutes with the staff at Cook Library. I'm Daniel Smith, the genealogy librarian, and you are listening to the Local Genealogists Speak podcast series. In this episode, we're hearing from a local genealogist about their experiences doing family history research. We are also listening for their tips and suggestions for doing genealogy. As a librarian, I am convinced that we all learn from each other and we all have valuable information to share. By the way, this episode will be a part of a larger series of interviews with local genealogists, so be on the lookout for others. Today, I am joined by Pam, a local genealogist who has graciously agreed to answer questions about her favorite ancestor, the Daughters of the American Revolution, commonly known as DAR, and more. In honor of the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence, Pam will also share a favorite part of U.S. history. Thank you for joining us, Pam. As we begin, I would love to ask you, why did you start researching your family history?
Oh gosh, Daniel, this began when I was in high school, when we didn't even have computers, and everything we needed was from snail mail. So my interest has gone back that far, but I really didn't get into it until after I retired 15 years ago. That's when I joined the DAR, and that's when things totally escalated with research, and that's when all these branches became open now into my family tree. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's awesome. It's been such a lifelong venture. I'm curious, when you started about doing the mailing part of the process, what were you doing? Were you requesting records, or were you talking to someone, like family members?
No, I was requesting documents, birth certificates, death certificates, from Cook County. My family's been in the Evanston area for a long, long time, my dad's side. So never really knew a whole lot about his, but because there were so many dead ends and there was no computers, it made life very difficult. So yeah, it's been a cool journey.
Awesome. So it sounds like you've been doing research again for quite a while, and I would love to hear about your favorite ancestor while you've been doing research.
Well, my dad was an only child and didn't know hardly anything about his family. So when I started digging into my dad's side, I realized I was related to John Morton, who is one of the 56 signers of the Declaration of Independence. Wow. His signature is right under Benjamin Franklin. He was part of the Pennsylvania delegation, and pretty proud of that part. But
I would be too.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah,
that's
awesome. That's my claim to fame.
I love it. And have you been able to find other patriots, or is that just your main patriot?
No, I've got his son, Sketchley Morton. Okay. He was a major in the Revolutionary Army, so I've done him, and I've got 5 others that are proven through DAR.
Wow.
So
amazing. Some
in Pennsylvania, and then my mom's side were from Virginia, and ended up going down to Georgia.
Awesome. Yeah, it sounds like that's great. It sounds like I've heard that a lot of people say that, if you've got one patriot, a lot of times you find that you have quite a few more, because if your family's been here for a while, you think about when you get that far back in your generations, you've got hundreds of grandparents to choose from.
Yes.
And of course, they may not even had to fought certainly in the Continental Army or in a state militia. If they gave aid to someone or things like that, you also might be able to qualify.
or if they were like a town constable or served on, was a judge, a surveyor. Anything that they provided their services to, is acceptable for DAR.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad someone who signed the Declaration qualified.
I know, right?
That's amazing. And just so perfect for this America 250 celebration. You've been talking a little bit about your work in DAR, and I'd love to hear why you think someone should join a lineage society like the DAR. What sort of benefit would a genealogist get from that?
It's a lot. The DAR is just phenomenal about research. Different avenues to use. The Cook Library is a partner of ours, and it's Family Search Library also, which is very valuable. The DAR is not just a lineage society. We are a service organization. So we very much support our communities. We volunteer. We have thousands of volunteer hours. My chapter in Libertyville, Ansel Brainerd Cook, I believe last year had over 6,800 volunteer hours in the communities that we work and live in. So, and this is volunteering at Bernie's Book Bank, Feed My Starving Children, We are rehabbing a cemetery up in northern Wadsworth where Henry Collins is buried, one of only 2 Revolutionary soldiers in all of Lake County. So we have adopted that cemetery up there and are still actively improving the grounds. And the friendship and the bonds that you get from the DAR, and yes, we are a lineage society, lineage-based, but on the flip side of that, we are very service-orientated. We love volunteering, and we love our veterans.
I love the way that you speak to the community that it creates around sort of other people who are interested in their family history, but also the way that you give back. And I always love reading through the newsletter that I receive monthly. You all generously share it with me, and it's amazing to see all the different things that folks in the chapter are doing. You share, of course, some of the research around your different family members, but also, like you said, all these different service opportunities and the ways that you all are giving back. And there are lots of options out there if you're interested in joining those sort of lineage societies, and a great way, as Pam was saying, to get some community and to learn from others who have maybe a shared lineage or at least a shared passion and history with you. And speaking of history, I would love to hear about your favorite part of U.S. history in honor of America 250.
I like the Revolutionary War, and I am so proud of being the 6th great-granddaughter of John Morton, but I kind of like the Civil War, too. Actually, I like any of the wars, so I don't particularly have a certain period of time. But it's just, you learn so much. I mean, I was always kind of a history buff, even in school, but just the amount that you learn by research, the different censuses and what each census brings information, for your lineage research and stuff you can learn on death certificates. And it just opens up a whole brand new world for history. And you learn so much more. If you are any kind of a history buff, start digging into your lineage because you'll get hooked.
I love that. Yeah, I know that like when you do any sort of research around wars, I mean, there's just so many documents and records that are created that you can learn so much, as you say, about history. And one of the things, as you were speaking to, I love about genealogy is if you're interested in history, of course, it kind of feeds that. But one of the also, it sometimes it's like it really enhances history. So I get a deeper understanding of a particular war or something like that if I'm doing research on an ancestor who fought in a war. Or it could be that it kind of challenges what I thought. You hear kind of the large dominant narrative about something, and it could be that your ancestor kind of challenges that in some way. For me, it was an instance where growing up in the South, I heard a lot of most slaveholding people are on large plantations, but I quickly learned that that wasn't the case. I had plenty of ancestors who sadly owned slaves, and that was 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 people, and that kind of challenged what sort of narrative I had grown up in hearing. So I encourage folks to do their genealogy research because you never know what sort of history you'll learn in the process. Thank you for sharing your knowledge and experience with us, Pam. We hope that you all enjoyed listening to and learning from Pam. Hopefully you are inspired by something she shared or said. Maybe she even gave you an idea to help further your research. If you enjoyed this podcast, share it with those who you think would also be interested. One of the best things you can do to support us is to take a moment to comment or leave a rating for this podcast. Those comments and ratings help get this podcast noticed. We'll be back soon, but until then, keep reading, keep watching, and keep listening.